Ever since the COVID-19 lockdowns began in the United States in March of 2020, many small businesses have struggled to survive, with some going out of business. Chicago, Illinois is no exception to this. Some of those smaller businesses have given me the opportunity to speak with them and cover their businesses. One of those is a local independent movie theater in Chicago that has been around for over 90 years. The Music Box Theater.
The Music Box is Chicago's year-round film festival, we like to say. We show all sorts of films, independent, foreign films, documentary, classic films, special events, special guests. The Music Box has been around since 1929. We just had a big 90th anniversary celebration back in 2019. Prior to the pandemic, we were open 365 days a year, including having a lot of annual special events like Christmas shows. There was a lot of stuff around Halloween, film festivals. My name is Buck Lepard. I'm the Senior Operations Manager at the Music Box Theater. I've been a part of the Music Box since 2009.
How did your business react to the first wave of COVID-19 that happened back in March and April?
So we were in the middle of our 70 millimeter film festival back in March 2020. We had just gotten through the first week. More information about COVID started coming out and government mandates started coming out. We were keeping an eye on it internally, and over the course of 2 or 3 days, everything kept changing. We'd gotten through the first weekend of the festival, and then we got the word that capacity restrictions were going to change. So we needed to go down to a maximum of 200 people in our 750 seat auditorium. So we took the steps to ensure that that would be the case. Literally a day or two later, word came down that businesses needed to go down to 5 or 10%, basically that we needed to close, which we all agreed was the right thing, but it was a very strange few days. We reopened in early July, and we started playing a bunch of classic films on 70 millimeter, which is this extra big film format that very few movie theaters even have the capability to do. So we played a lot of classic films meant to be seen on the big screen. Vertigo, 2001: A Space Odyssey, leading up into the release of Christopher Nolan's new movie Tenet. And we stayed open for about 4 or 5 months there. Reopened in July with limited capacity, limited showtimes, more time in between movies for extra cleaning precautions. And then we shut down again in mid-November.
How did Music Box Theater react when the cases started rising again in Illinois in November?
So unfortunately, it was a case of practice makes perfect, where by the time the second closure came around, we were able to make that decision faster, and we already had several things in place. We had certain things that we had started doing during our first closure to, again, engage with our audience a little bit more and also bring in a little bit of income so we didn't have to close down permanently. So that included partnering with different movie distributors and studios to do virtual cinema screenings. So we had a lot of movies that people could buy tickets to watch them online, and then we would be splitting the revenue with the movie studios for those. To-go concessions available for curbside pickup every weekend, and we started partnering with different businesses to do special packages. So you can pick up popcorn and soda and candy, and then this week it comes with books that benefit Carpe Librum, or this week it comes with bagels to benefit Steingold's Deli, which just opened next door to us. So we had to get creative on a few ways to keep our business going. And the second time we closed, we were able to implement all of those a lot faster because we didn't have to spend so much time brainstorming and figuring out what we were capable of doing and what we were not capable of doing in the situation.
How is the Music Box doing as of right now in 2021?
Well, we've just reopened again. We were closed for the first several months of the year, but still doing our virtual cinema, doing to-go concessions, a few other different things. We launched our own virtual cinema platform called Music Box Direct. People can watch all of our movies online in one specific location. We're open right now only on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for 2 or 3 shows a day. We have, again, an auditorium that seats 750 people, and we're only allowing up to 50 people in that room with very strict cleaning procedures, mask mandates, social distancing. But we have a great audience. Everyone's been very respectful and very appreciative. People are mostly just happy that we're open and happy to be back at the movies. We've continued to do the other things like the virtual cinema and the to-go concessions. For our 70-seat auditorium, we've been renting it out for private rentals, private screenings for small parties of around 10 people or so. You can rent the small auditorium, bring in a DVD or Blu-ray of your own, and watch it in a very controlled environment.
What has been some really difficult moments for Music Box Theater?
I mean, I'd be lying if I said any of it was not difficult. Part of it's just been the uncertainty of, closing down and then not knowing when we were going to be able to reopen, what it's going to look like when we reopen. I think when we first shut down, we thought, kind of foolishly assumed when we reopened it would be back to business as usual. But of course, that was not the case. So we've kept having to make adjustments, tweak our practices, do anyway when we're open, when we were open in the before times, in pre-2020, there was a lot of thinking on the fly and making changes. We kept our front of house staff on as long as we could when we first shut down. We shut down middle of March 2020, and we were able to keep our entire floor staff on and on payroll through the end of May. We were fortunate that we were coming off of several very good years of the theater, so we had a nice little piggy bank of reserves to pull from. But at the end of May, when it was, we still had no idea when we'd be able to reopen. We were just didn't have enough to keep people on, so we had to let folks go. We provided them with as many resources we could about, making sure they were eligible for unemployment and able to get that, providing references for people seeking other jobs. We have had, bright moments during the pandemic. It's been really great seeing how supportive our audience has been. We've been talking for years about how we wanted to offer a Christmas ornament, but we would always get so busy. We're like, well, we have a little bit of time this year. Let's design an ornament. And we sent an email out about those, and they sold out immediately. And so we did another run of those. Been open for a long time, and we have had people who've been coming to us for a long time. And our audience just wants to make sure that we're still around. We're in a good position. Like I said before, we were coming off of several very good years. We're able to have a bit of a backbone to support us during this. Hopefully we'll look at this as just, sort of a hiccup along the way. But we wouldn't have been able to persevere without the support of, a lot of our staff along the way.
What are your future plans? What's the future? What are some future plans for the Music Box Theater going forward?
So we have a timeline in place that, of course, like everything this past year, is subject to change. Right now, it's the middle of March, and we are only open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for limited screenings. We are planning at the end of March to reopen for 7 days a week again. And then if everything trends the way we hope it does, we will be able to increase our audience later on in the spring or early summer. So we are hopeful for the future, and we've got plans in place for how we're able to continue moving forward. There's several different ways people can help right now. You can support us by watching a movie on Music Box Direct, to-go concessions from us, which are available on Fridays and Saturday nights. So order concessions, pick them up, and bring them back home for your weekend movie night. And like I said, we are open for limited screenings right now. Main focus used to be just, all right, let's get movies on screen and let's get an audience in to see the movies. And then that got taken away from us by COVID. And so we had to come up with all of these different things that venues we would not have ever gone down. Like we never even had discussions of, hey, we should start playing our movie, making our movies available to watch online instead of at the theater. Or we should, start making packages of concessions that people can, just pick up and take home, online merchandise, making ourselves available to go out to our audience rather than having our audience come to us in our physical building.